Oh, enjoy this moment. Soak it in. Soak it in. Soak it in. It's really real. Are you all right? Ooh.
Okay, get out. Everybody get out.
Nobody expected
Doe to say this. Not tears, not reflection, but pure heartbreak. And the moment the word money entered the conversation, everything shifted. Brat finally broke her silence about her breakup with Judy and the emotion in. Her voice said it all. This wasn't a calm recap or a peaceful goodbye. She sounded hurt, disappointed, and completely blindsided. Fans had sensed trouble for months, but hearing it directly from her made it hit differently. According to Doe, this didn't feel like a typical breakup. It felt planned, as if Judy had already checked out mentally while Doe remained fully invested. And when money was mentioned not as an accusation, but as a feeling, the internet went into full detective mode. Social media users started digging up old clips, past interviews, and quiet moments that had been overlooked before. Fans began asking uncomfortable questions. Was love still the priority, or had stability and opportunity quietly taken over? Doe remained careful with her words, letting the raw emotions speak louder than anything else.
Judy.
I'm Jessica Dupart. A lot of people know me as Judy. I am the owner of Kaleidoscope Hair Products. To date, the company's probably made close to $40 million. Also birthed Kaleidoscope Realty, Kaleidoscope Management, Kaleidoscope Cares, Kaleidoscope Shipping and Receiving. Yeah,
She didn't
accuse Judy of cheating. She didn't drop receipts, texts, or screenshots. Instead, she shared raw emotion, the kind that comes from broken promises, shattered plans, and sudden changes behind closed doors. When someone walks away, after serious commitments, people naturally try to connect the dots. That's exactly what happened here. The reactions were instant and divided. Some said Brat was simply speaking from pain. Others felt her emotions were too specific to be imagined. One thing became clear quickly. Once money enters the picture, love is always questioned. Fans started asking, was Judy chasing security? Was Brat completely caught off guard? Or was this relationship quietly collapsing under pressures no one could see? What stood out most was this: the breakup wasn't mutual. Brat didn't try to make it seem that way. She spoke honestly, emotionally, and without filters. That vulnerability is what set the internet on fire. She talked about serious plans, shared futures, and expectations that were never properly discussed before everything changed. Her pain wasn't about being alone, it was about being left behind without warning.
When people ask stuff about you, she will either not respond or she'll say no comment. I just feel like the same respect that she gives you, why can't she have that same respect from you?
So let me tell me what you thought I should have said.
I would have no comment. I honestly would have no comment. I feel like even you just asked me my opinion and what would I do?
And that's not my personality at all. It's not, because here's the thing. When somebody asks me something,
but then if she responds to these same questions, she wouldn't do that to you.
I don't care what
she wouldn't do that to you. But she wouldn't do that to you.
Thank you for telling me.
She wouldn't.
And
then came the word that changed everything: money. Not as proof, not as blame, but as a feeling she couldn't ignore. Once that idea surfaced, fans started noticing shifts in priorities, ambition, and timing. Nothing was proven, but a narrative had already begun to take shape. Longtime supporters felt this breakup on a personal level. Brat has never been someone to rush into love. She guarded her heart for years, choosing privacy before finally letting the world see her relationship. So hearing her now talk about feeling replaced or pushed aside didn't just sound sad, it felt deeply personal. Social media immediately split into two sides. Some believed heartbreak can distort perception, while others felt her pain was too raw and specific to ignore. As emotions ran high, old clips resurfaced. Moments once praised as loving now looked tense when replayed. Fans rewatched interviews, paused conversations, and asked whether ambition or money had quietly shifted the dynamic long before the breakup became public. One thing became clear: this wasn't a clean or simple ending. And Brat made it clear. She wasn't going to hide the hurt just to make things look peaceful.
On the counter, I took it off right beside you so you know where my ring is. You actually put it on your finger, and you must have took it off. So don't ask me where my ring at like you don't know where it's at.
Girl, all I know is I see a hand without a ring on it.
Girl, this hand is laying in the bed. Next to the bitch you put the ring on it, so you know the ring ain't far.
What is far?
Far.
Far.
You know the ring ain't far.
Girl, far. All right.
You know the ring ain't far. And we in New York, so we ain't drive no car. Y'all like my hair? It's full of pride. Ain't she cute?
For weeks, fans tried to piece together what really happened between Brat and Judy. There were no scandals, no shocking evidence, nothing illegal, just perception. But perception has power, and in this case, it sparked a massive online conversation. Social media locked onto one phrase. No longer chosen, that phrase ignited debates about growth, priorities, and whether love becomes conditional when life improves. Fans revisited old interviews, noticing how Judy often spoke about ambition, while Brat emphasized emotional safety. The contrast between emotional connection and material stability became the heart of the discussion. Nothing was proven, but it was enough to fuel ongoing speculation. What stood out most was Brat's vulnerability. She admitted how difficult it was to open her heart publicly and how risky it felt to choose love in front of the world. Being left didn't just end a relationship, it reopened wounds she thought had healed. By this point, the story wasn't about blame anymore. It was about impact. What happens when someone feels replaced not by a person, but by circumstances they can't compete with? The conversation quickly grew bigger than just Brat and Judy.
If we thought about having another one.
What made him ask you that?
I think everybody asks that now.
True, you want a baby sister?
You know, right now life is okay, but having another one might be a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
At least until we figure it out.
What are we gonna do with the eggs left, though?
We can donate them.
We can donate them?
Or we could just not use them.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
I know. I guess we just figure it out as time goes. If we decide when he's 6 months, hey, we might want to try to do something, we just figure it out then.
What started
as a breakup story quickly became a reflection on modern relationships under pressure, where love can feel negotiable, silence speaks louder than explanations, and timing changes everything. Fans debated endlessly, breaking down patterns and asking whether love can truly survive when new opportunities enter the picture. At that point, it was clear this was no longer just private heartbreak. It had sparked a public conversation about trust, priorities, and the emotional cost of being the one left behind. As the story unfolded, one thing became clear. This was never about proving Judy wrong. There was no scandal, no evidence, nothing to catch, just feelings, experiences, and interpretations that asked for empathy rather than judgment. Brat made it clear that her pain didn't automatically turn Judy into a villain. People change, circumstances shift, but being left without clarity leaves scars. And those scars deserve recognition. Her approach stayed careful and measured. She spoke more about disappointment than anger, more about confusion than rage. That honesty made her words hit harder. It didn't feel performative, it felt unresolved and real. Slowly, the narrative moved beyond the phrase left for money. It became a story about love colliding with growth, opportunity, and life moving faster than two people could keep up with. Whether that pull came from finances, career, or personal evolution hardly mattered. The emotional truth stayed the same. Fans understood that the conversation wasn't about motive anymore. It was about meaning. What does it feel like to realize you're no longer being chosen? Brat described subtle shifts, shorter conversations, changes in energy, feeling adjacent to someone's future instead of included in it. These weren't accusations. They were descriptions of distance, the kind that forms even when no one does anything wrong. Social media grew quiet in a new way, as people began recognizing themselves in her words. Not the celebrity headlines or the money rumors, but the universal experience of loving someone whose life starts moving in a different direction. Access, opportunity, and momentum can quietly rewrite the rules of love, even when no one says it out loud. Brat also turned inward, questioning herself as part of the process.
Get out of here. That is so. Pack your bag. Where we going? Oh my God. Serengeti. It's with the giraffe so they can get you in your room. I think you just went away. Oh my God, that elephant arm.
Should
She
she
protected her heart better, but was being vulnerable too costly? That self-reflection removed blame and replaced it with humanity. It showed that heartbreak isn't always about fault, it's about impact. By this stage, Judy's silence no longer defined the story. This wasn't a courtroom battle, it was the emotional aftermath. Whether Judy left for money, opportunity, or personal growth became less important than the uncertainty left behind. Experts often say closure doesn't always come from answers. Sometimes it begins with acceptance, choosing to survive even when the ending doesn't feel fair. Brat's final message carried weight. She didn't harden. She didn't weaponize her pain. She spoke about healing, rebuilding trust in herself, and remembering that someone else's choices don't erase your worth. That honesty resonated in a world obsessed with winners and losers. No receipts, no statements, no final explanation. And yet the story found its own resolution. Relationships don't always end because love disappears. Sometimes life simply pulls people in different directions. Being left doesn't mean you weren't enough. It means the path forward required something different. Brat closed not with anger, but with truth. This story isn't about scandal. It's about vulnerability, value, and resilience. Heartbreak doesn't need a villain. And healing doesn't require proof, only the courage to keep choosing yourself. If this story resonated with you, hit like, comment your experience, subscribe for deeper stories, and share this video with someone who needs the reminder. Being left doesn't mean you weren't enough. It just means life demanded something new.